So Vincent, John, you're well known for the Wealth Dragon Way. So now let's look at the pension system. Do you think people should invest on their own or should they pay into a plan?
Personally, I believe it is important that we take our financial matters and future in our own hands and have an active interest in it. In the past, we've seen a lot of people every month contributing towards their pensions through the company schemes or privately, only to find that when they reach retirement age, they're not able to. And I keep seeing sort of elderly people working in places like, B&Q and they're stacking shelves. And just recently, someone got fired for leaving the till open for like 10 minutes. You think, something must have gone wrong somewhere. So I believe it is important that people start taking an active interest in money matters like pensions or savings, etc.
So John, do you agree? I know in the news of late it's been about people able to take lump sums out and everyone's actually thought it's been a terrible idea, but I imagine you probably disagree.
Money is power. We work so hard for money. But one of the things we're going to do, we're going to have that money work really hard for us. So when you take money out, you have more options. There's a lot of people, for example, own property. They're equity rich, but they're cash poor. So if you could take that money out and you can invest that in something that gives you a higher return on investment, and let's say you could take that money out, you invest in another vehicle, and this vehicle pays you enough money to pay for the mortgage, effectively you can live mortgage free. So I think it's a great idea to be able to educate yourself in things to invest in, and the moment you can do that, that's when you start getting a higher ROI.
So question to both of you now, and what's your top tips for a comfortable twilight years?
Stop relying on money managers to invest for you. Start educating yourself in financial matters. Now these days it's so easy for people to be active in their investments through share buying or even trading the forex market. Of course, you want to diversify your portfolio by having the bulk of your money in a safer investment, maybe through buying blue chip shares, or maybe a part of the portfolio you want to invest in property. Property is always a good bet because it's bricks and mortar. And then perhaps you want to be a little bit more adventurous and maybe a small part of your money pot you put in something a little bit more exciting, maybe a high growth stocks or something a little bit more speculative. But you have to make sure that you don't put all your eggs in one basket and don't put more than what you can't afford to lose.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. There's two things: assets, so things you invest in things that go up in value, and then you're going to invest in cash flow. So a lot of people, it depends on your risk profile. So if someone who's like extremely high risk, then good things to invest in if you have an appetite for risk is startups. Because startups, a lot of startups fail, but the ones that do make it, you get a higher ROI. So if you look at something like tech is another, if you've got appetite for risk, then tech is another great way to go. If you'd invested in some of the tech companies like Facebook, Instagram, Uber, Twitter, all these, you'd be a multi-millionaire right now. So that's high risk. And if you want to do something a little bit more less risk, then again, property, as Vince was talking about, property is a sound and safe investment. In fact, it's so safe that that's the only thing that banks will lend you money on. If you ask the bank for £100,000 to trade the markets or invest in stock, they won't do it. But the reason why they invest in real estate and property is because it's one of these things that it's not like a stock can drop overnight. Property is kind of like if you imagine it like a big boat, it takes a long time to turn. So then those are for like low risk. And medium risk, again, you can take your funds and you want to diversify, as Vincent said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you could maybe start your own business and venture that way as well. So there's so many different opportunities. And I think in the time we're living in now, anybody with a little bit of education and with the right coaches and mentors can guide them in the right direction to do that.